Hey, it's Bree from Scholastifair. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. In this lesson, we will discuss how to solve systems of equations using the substitution method. In the substitution method, you'll usually be given two equations where you'll have to solve for both variables, usually x and y. You would solve for one of the variables and then replug that value back into one of the original equations to solve for the remaining variable. We have example 1, y equals -5 and 5x plus 4y equals -20. So let's first use the y equals -5 to solve for x. Since y is already solved for, we can go ahead and solve for the other variable. So in order to do that, we need to bring down the 5x plus 4y equals -20. Where we see a y at, we're going to implement a -5. So you should have 5x plus 4 parentheses -5 equals -20. Now we can go ahead and distribute. So you'll get 5x minus 20 equals -20. We need to get 5x by itself, and the only way we can do that is by moving the 20 to both sides of the equal sign. Once we do that, you should get 5x equals 0. We need to get x by itself by dividing both sides of the equal sign by 5, and x is equal to 0. Since we were told what y is equal to, which is -5, we're still going to go ahead and plug in a 0 for where we see an x, just to show you guys mathematically that it does actually equal -5. So let's bring down the equation 5x plus 4y equals -20. So you should have 5 parentheses 0 close the parentheses plus 4y equals -20. Go ahead and distribute. So you should get 0 plus 4y equals -20. We need to get the 4y by itself. So in order to do that, we need to subtract 0 from both sides of the equal sign. Once you do that, you should get 4y equals -20. In order to get y by itself, both sides need to be divided by 4, and y is equal to -5. So the coordinate point answer for this problem is parentheses 0, comma, -5, close the parentheses. And remember, the coordinate point just lets us know that when these two equations intersect, they intersect at that point. We have example 2, x plus 7y equals 0, and 2x minus 8y equals 22. So it's not a clear indication of the value for what x is equal to or y. So we're going to have to do some manipulation to the equation so that we can solve for both variables. So let's take x plus 7y equals 0, and let's go ahead and solve for x. So in order to do that, you should have x plus 7y equals 0. We need to get x by itself. By doing that, we have to subtract 7y from both sides of the equal sign. So once we do that, x is equal to -7y plus 0. So now that we know the what x is equal to, its expression, we can go ahead and plug that -7y plus 0 into the other equation to solve for y. So it should look something like this: 2 parentheses -7y plus 0 close the parentheses minus 8y equals 22. So once you distribute the 2, you should get -14y plus 0. Bring down a -8y, the equal sign, and a 22. Now we're going to go ahead and combine like terms. So you should get -22y plus 0 equals 22. We need to get -22y by itself by subtracting 0 from both sides of the equal sign. So after you do that, your sentence should state -22y equals 22. In order to get y by itself, we have to divide both sides of the equal sign by -22. So y is equal to -1. Now that we know what y is equal to, we can now solve for x. So let's take the equation x plus 7 y equals 0. Where we see a y, we're going to put in the -1. So you should have x plus 7 parentheses -1 close the parentheses equals 0. Once we distribute, you should get x minus 7y equals 0. In order to get x by itself, we have to subtract 7, or we have to add 7 to both sides of the equal sign. So x is equal to 7. So the coordinate point answer for this problem is parentheses 7, comma, -1, close the parentheses. So we have example 3, y equals 5x minus 7, and negative 3x minus 2y equals -12. So in this case, we know what y is equal to. So we're going to place the 5x minus 7 into where we see a y for the other equation. So it should look something like this. Negative 3x minus 2, parentheses, 5x minus 7, close the parentheses, equals -12. So after you distribute, you should have negative 3x minus 10x plus 14 equals -12. We're going to go ahead and combine like terms. So you should get negative 13x plus 14 equals -12. And we need to add, or we need to subtract 14 from both sides of the equal sign so that we can get negative 13x by itself. So once we do that, you should get negative 13x is equal to -26. And you'll have to divide both sides of the equal sign by negative 13 to solve for x. In this case, x is equal to 2. So now that we know what x is equal to, let's go ahead and solve for y. So let's take the equation y equals 5x minus 7. Where we see in x, we're going to put the 2 in. So you should have y equals 5, parentheses 2, close the parentheses, minus 7. Once you distribute, you should get y equals 10 minus 7, and y is equal to 3. So the coordinate point for this problem is parentheses 2, comma, 3, parentheses. Lastly, we have example 4, negative 7x minus 2y equals -13, and x minus 2y equals 11. So let's take x minus 2y equals 11 and solve for x. It doesn't matter which variable you decide to solve for first. We're just going to use x in this case. So in order to get x by itself, we have to add 2y to both sides of the equal sign. So x is going to be equal to 2y plus 11. Now we can substitute the 2y plus 11 into the other equation for where we see an x. So you should have -7, parentheses 2y plus 11, close the parentheses, minus 2y equals -13. Let's go ahead and distribute. So you should get -14y minus 77 minus 2y equals -13. Go ahead and combine like terms. So you should get -16y minus 77 equals -13. In order to get -16y by itself, we have to add 77 to both sides of the equal sign. So once you do that, you should have -16y is equal to 64. You'll have to divide both sides of the equal sign by -16, and y is equal to -4. So now that we know what y is equal to, we need to solve to figure out what x is equal to. So we're going to take the x minus 2y equals 11. Where we see a y, we're going to substitute the -4 into that position. So you should get x minus 2, parentheses, -4, close the parentheses, equals 11. Go ahead and distribute. So you should get x plus 8 equals 11. And then we have to subtract 8 from both sides of the equal sign, and x is equal to 3. So the final answer is parentheses 3, comma, -4, close the parentheses. I hope that you enjoyed today's lesson. If you're looking for one-on-one help or additional educational support, visit us at scholasticfair.com, where we offer one-on-one tutoring for multiple subjects, and check out our blog where we post weekly educational content. Till next time, bye for now.